Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on one of the most intensely guarded, high-stakes industries on the planet, the global gold trade. Now, when you think of precious metals, you probably picture bustling trading floors, right? Or maybe massive, gleaming vaults. But honestly, before a single ounce of gold ever moves, an incredibly complex, totally hidden security apparatus kicks into gear. We're going to examine the regulatory framework of Gold Asset World, a licensed precious metals trading company in Dubai, to see exactly how modern compliance acts as this escalating fortress protecting the whole global market.
All right, let's jump right in with the single, unyielding rule that serves as the absolute foundation for trading precious metals. It's an incredibly simple but totally strict policy. No KYC equals no transaction. Period. If you don't know your customer, you absolutely cannot do business with them. It really is the bedrock of the entire operation.
To understand how this fortress works, we'll quickly explore the 4 escalating checkpoints every buyer and seller has to survive. 1. The golden rule of KYC. 2. Screening for sanctions and PEPs. 3. Unmasking the ultimate owners. And 4. Executing the gold trade.
Section 1. The Golden Rule. KYC and Customer Due Diligence.
So, know your customer, or KYC, isn't just some boring bureaucratic formality. Far from it. It's the legal and commercial safeguard protecting everyone involved. And this protocol applies to absolutely everybody in the chain. We're talking buyers, sellers, suppliers, refineries, intermediaries, corporate reps. They all have to be verified. In this market, no one gets the privilege of trading anonymously. No way.
Now you might be wondering, why is the scrutiny so intense for this specific commodity? Well, it boils down to gold possessing some highly sensitive traits. Think about it. It packs a massive amount of value into a really small physical footprint. It's globally tradable, super portable, and practically instantly convertible into cash anywhere in the world. Because it is so insanely liquid, strict compliance is absolutely vital. It's the only way to prevent money laundering, terrorist financing, and fraud.
Section 2. Sanctions and PEPs, Screening for Risks.
Moving deeper into the fortress, compliance teams aren't just checking IDs, they are actively hunting for risks. And one of the biggest red flags? A PEP, or a politically exposed person. This includes heads of state, government ministers, senior military officers, ambassadors, you name it. Now, just being a prominent politician doesn't mean you've done anything wrong, obviously. But because of the immense power you wield, it inherently flags you as a higher corruption or bribery risk.
So, what actually happens when, say, a former government minister approaches a company like Gold Asset World for a massive transaction? Do they just get waved through because they're a VIP? Actually, scratch that. The exact opposite happens. An entirely new, intense level of scrutiny is immediately triggered. This kicks off what's known as the Enhanced Due Diligence Gauntlet. When a PEP is involved, compliance officers have to meticulously verify exactly where that politician's wealth came from and precisely how they got the funds for this specific transaction. They'll even run adverse media checks to hunt for any public ties to corruption or organized crime. Without senior internal approval navigating every single one of these steps, absolutely no trade occurs.
Section 3. Unmasking Owners. Understanding UBOs.
In today's global economy, you rarely just trade with a solo person. You're usually dealing with a corporation, but compliance demands finding the ultimate beneficial owner, or UBO. We're talking about the actual, flesh-and-blood human beings hiding behind the corporate paperwork. Who actually reaps the financial benefits at the end of the day?
Sometimes, this is a piece of cake. In a simple, direct ownership scenario, like a fictional ABC Gold trading company, the UBOs are obvious. You can clearly see the exact percentage of equity held by specific individuals. Say John Smith holds 80% and Sarah Brown holds 20%. Boom, they are the natural persons who own the business. Nice and easy.
However, the reality of international trade is rarely that straightforward. When dealing with indirect ownership, the true controllers might be hiding behind multiple international holding companies, nominee shareholders, or offshore trusts. A company could be owned by a holding company in another jurisdiction, which is in turn owned by 2 private individuals. Peeling back those layers to uncover who is really pulling the strings demands intense, methodical investigation. It's like a giant puzzle. So the crucial takeaway here is this repeating mantra in the compliance world. Companies do business, but people own and control companies. Investigators must never just verify the paper company, but rather the actual individuals benefiting from the trade. If you don't know who the real people are, there's just no way you can properly screen them for sanctions or criminal ties.
Section 4. Executing the Trade. Trading Procedures.
Now, when you map out the actual sequential procedure of a deal, it absolutely proves that compliance always takes priority. Notice that commercial negotiations, where you're actually talking about price, quantity, and delivery schedules, don't even happen until step 5. That means absolutely no confidential commercial terms are even discussed until a robust compliance screening is fully 100% complete.
And once you do finally reach the commercial stage, the diligence doesn't stop. To establish serious intent and formalize the trade, participants have to navigate a massive paper trail. This is a highly regulated, document-driven business full of legally binding, acronym-heavy contracts. We're talking letters of intent, irrevocable corporate purchase orders, non-disclosure agreements, the whole shebang. It quickly separates the genuine professionals from the casual speculators.
All right, so once the paperwork is totally settled, the actual physical logistics finally kick in. The material moves from the gold mine to approved refineries, undergoing independent, incredibly strict assay inspections to verify its purity. Then it moves through bullion banks and finally reaches settlement and the consumer. And here is the kicker. Every single step of this physical chain is shadowed by an equally rigid chain of custody and compliance verification.
This brings us to a foundational principle from the Gold Asset World Academy that perfectly summarizes the exhaustive, zero-tolerance nature of the global precious metals market today. Every counterparty must be screened. Every risk must be understood. Every transaction must be compliant. It's a world where absolutely nothing is taken at face value. And trust? Well, trust is something that is strictly engineered through documentation.
It really is a fascinating fortress of regulation, isn't it? It completely changes how you view a piece of jewelry or a simple gold coin when you realize the rigorous, almost unbelievable layers of investigation required just to move it across the world. Honestly, the physical weight of the gold is nothing compared to the weight of the compliance behind it. So, next time you see a simple gold bar, will you recognize the massive hidden paper trail of human verification that brought it there? Thank you for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning what goes on behind the scenes of our global economy.